Hey everyone, let's just jump right into it. Welcome to today's explainer. We are taking a really fascinating, highly structured look at a very specific, agonizing problem in the network marketing space and an incredibly detailed, mathematically driven solution that's proposed in our source material. We're going to unpack the anatomy of a concept called Anchor Core254. Essentially, it's a blueprint for a portable, independent business matrix. Whether you're a veteran of network marketing or honestly just curious about how decentralized team structures operate in today's digital economy, this is literally a masterclass in structural engineering applied to human networks. Here's a quick roadmap of what we're covering today. First, the network marketing problem. Second, introducing Anchor Core254. Third, we'll go inside the 2x2 matrix. Fourth, the rules and registration order. And finally, the risks and rewards. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the network marketing problem. To really understand the solution, we first have to wrap our heads around the massive pain point that inspired it in the first place. Look, in the network marketing model, your absolute biggest asset is your downline, right? The team you build. But there is a glaring inherent vulnerability here. Our source material actually comes from a project coordinator who spent a decade building massive, sprawling teams. And he uses this perfect flood analogy to describe the utter devastation of a platform collapsing. Imagine spending years building a team of, get this, 120,000 people, which the source explicitly claims to have done, only to have the platform you built it on just shut down overnight. The house is completely washed away. All that effort, poof, gone. You're forced to start from absolute scratch. So the core philosophy here is that you desperately need a team that is entirely independent of the digital real estate and happens to be temporarily occupying. So what actually causes these metaphorical floods? Well, the sources list several real-world reasons why seemingly thriving, invincible platforms just abruptly collapse. Sometimes it's sudden regulatory interventions, a platform running into massive issues with the SEC, for instance. Other times, it's simply unethical management outright bankrupting the company. Then you have fundamental structural errors, basically a business model built on a totally flawed mathematical foundation that just eventually caves in on itself. Or it could be something as simple as an unanticipated policy shift that forces a massive migration. But honestly, whatever the cause is, the end result for the network marketer is exactly the same. The platform fails, and your entire team disappears right along with it. Moving right along to Section 2, introducing Anchor Core254. To counteract this ever-present threat of platform collapse, the source material introduces a really unique concept designed to act almost like an insurance policy for a network marketer's team. This is Anchor Core254. It's defined as a dedicated 2x2 binary team. But here is the absolutely crucial part of this definition. It is designed to operate completely independently. Think of it as an external entity. The whole idea is that you build this matrix off-platform. Then, when the administrators find a viable business platform to join, the entire intact team migrates onto that platform simultaneously. And if that target platform goes bankrupt 6 months down the line, no problem. The team simply picks up and moves to the next one, perfectly preserving their exact hierarchical structure. Now, pay attention to that specific number, 254. This isn't just a random figure. This entire system is built completely on the concept of strict scarcity. There are not infinite positions in this core group. There are exactly 254 permanent slots, period. Once those slots are purchased and secured by members, the doors slam shut. Nobody else can join the permanent core. And this scarcity, it's intentionally engineered to create immediate value and a huge sense of urgency for the initial participants. Okay, let's peel back the layers in Section 3, inside the 2x2 matrix. So how exactly do those 254 people mathematically stack up? Let's break down exactly how a 2x2 binary matrix expands. It starts with just one team leader sitting right at the top. Under them, you have 2 positions in level 1. Under those 2, you have 4 positions in level 2. Then it goes 8, 16, 32, 64, and finally 128 positions down at level 7. If you add up every single position from level 1 all the way down to level 7, what do you get? Exactly 254. That right there is your core structure. But notice what happens when we hit levels 8 and 9 below them. These are actually classified entirely differently. Level 8 holds 256 people, and level 9 holds 512 people. These bottom 2 levels make up what's called the expansion layer, and they function in a completely different way from the top 7 levels. The absolute key to grasping this concept is understanding the sharp contrast between these 2 distinct groups. Take the core structure. Those 254 positions are permanent. They belong to specific individuals who pay an entry fee just to lock in their exact geometric placement. And that placement follows them, literally, to every single new platform they join. Now compare that to the expansion layer. These 768 positions are totally fluid. The people in these slots are not permanent members of the anchor team. Instead, they are newly recruited individuals brought in purely to generate activity, volume, and upward momentum for the core structure sitting right above them. So you might be wondering, how do they actually fund and create all that momentum? Well, here is the financial engine that drives the whole thing. The people sitting in the core structure don't just pay to secure their spots. Their initial entry fees, combined with a required annual subscription, are entirely pooled together by the administrators. And that pooled capital, it's heavily deployed into targeted ad campaigns and lead generation. Literally, the sole purpose of these ads is to recruit the hundreds of people needed to continuously fill out levels 8 and 9. It effectively engineers this massive bottom-up momentum, meaning the people safely sitting in the core structure don't have to rely entirely on their own personal, exhausting recruitment efforts. Which brings us right into Section 4, Rules and Registration Order. Listen, keeping a structure this rigid perfectly intact requires an absolute iron fist. You can't just pick up a sprawling external matrix and casually drop it onto a brand new third-party platform without incredibly strict compliance. It just wouldn't work. The source material details a painstakingly slow, incredibly top-down registration process. Let's say the team decides to join a new platform, like, say, a platform called Micron Global. They have to recreate their structure flawlessly. Step 1, the team leader signs up. Step 2, the people in Level 1 sign up using the team leader's referral link, and they actually have to wait to be fully verified. Step 3, only after Level 1 is completely locked in can Level 2 even begin to sign up. This careful cascade continues all the way down to Level 7. It is highly coordinated to ensure the exact geographic map of the matrix remains completely undisturbed. Because this replication process is so insanely delicate, the rules around it are just unforgiving. Members are strictly, unequivocally forbidden from doing any personal signups on the target platform before it is exactly their specific turn. You have to wait for admin coordination, period. If a member gets impatient and just goes rogue, registering independently outside the team structure, they instantly forfeit their position on that specific platform, no questions asked. And the sources make this crystal clear. If a member repeatedly violates these structural discipline policies, they are looking at permanent eviction from the entire Core254 network. Oh, and without a refund, by the way. But what happens if the team takes a vote, decides to join a platform, and you already happen to have an active account sitting there? It's a real dilemma. Well, the source outlines 3 very strict options to handle this without shattering the matrix. Option 1. You petition the target platform support team to manually move your existing account directly under your designated Core254 upline. Now, if the platform refuses to do that, you move to Option 2. You supply a proxy, maybe a friend or a family member, to register in your designated slot just so the chain doesn't break. If you can't find a proxy, you hit Option 3. You are skipped entirely. The admins will literally register the people meant to be below you directly to the person sitting above you. You get to keep your anchor Core254 membership, but you have to sit out that specific platform entirely. Let's wrap this all up with Section 5, Risks and Rewards. Let's take a step back and objectively evaluate what this system actually achieves, based entirely on what the source documents tell us. And to be fair, the sources are actually pretty transparent about the dichotomy here. On the benefit side, you get a secured, priority position that replicates across multiple businesses. You also get the massive benefit of engineered team activity through those centrally funded ad campaigns we talked about. However, on the risk side, there's absolutely zero guarantee regarding the underlying platforms themselves. You also run a huge risk of delayed alignment if a platform's rules clash with the matrix structure. And of course, you are tied to a strict annual financial commitment just to keep that ad engine running. It's also absolutely vital to understand that this system requires a total willing surrender of your individual control. By joining this matrix, a participant is actively agreeing to system centralization. A tiny administrative team handles all the ad management. They conduct the platform evaluation and make the ultimate final call on which businesses the group will join. They coordinate every single registration. The foundational philosophy here is crystal clear. The structural integrity of the team as a whole will always take priority over an individual member's personal preferences. Ultimately, this highly organized system is really just a ship navigating a wildly volatile ocean. The source explicitly states that there are absolutely zero guarantees of income. This matrix doesn't magically generate profit all on its own. It is simply a highly organized delivery vehicle. Yes, it brilliantly mitigates the risk of losing your team during a collapse. But your actual financial success still relies 100% on whether or not the third-party platform you all just migrated to actually survives those rough waters. Which naturally leaves us with this final, provocative thought. Can a portable team structure truly outlive platform collapse? Anchor Core254 presents a deeply fascinating, mathematically rigid attempt to solve one of network marketing's biggest, most painful problems by turning a temporary downline into a permanent migrating entity. Whether that level of strict discipline and centralized control can actually hold it together across the chaotic landscape of third-party platforms, well, that is one incredibly compelling experiment in human organization. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. I really hope you found this explainer as fascinating to explore as I did. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.